To everyone in the United States and around the world, this is Love, Truth, and Peace. I am your host, Dr. Melida Barrow, coming to you live from Miami. This show was created to equip nations and people with the knowledge and tools they need to improve, create, build, prosper, and change their environment so that they can effectively lead to a better future. Our topic today, Garifuna, Africans, Arawak, and the Caribs in the diaspora who were never enslaved. And to discuss, I would like to introduce to you our special guest, Robert Mariano, former president for the National Garifuna Council of Belize, and Martha Robinson, VP of Wanichigu and Habufu. I got it, Martha. How are you guys today? How are you doing?
Thanks very much.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting us on the show.
Of course.
Yes. As you have mentioned, my name is Robert Mariano. Yes. I live in Dangriga, Belize, Central America, and I am a Garifuna. Born and raised, my both parents, mother and father, are Garifuna. My grandparents came out of Honduras a few years ago, and so we were raised as Garifuna here in Belize. Yes. And I was, or is, the past president of the National Garifuna Council of Belize that represent the Garifuna people here in Belize.
Yes, wonderful. Martha, would you like to do
Thanks very much for this invitation. And to all the viewers, I am Martha Robinson. I am the past president, branch president for National Garifuna Council. I am the vice for Habafo and Wanichigu. And I am also a teacher by profession.
Very good, very good.
I am a Garinagu. I'm living here. I am a Garifuna. I live here in Belize and Dangriga. And I would love to meet more of my brothers and sisters across the borders within the diaspora.
Very good. Well, you're going to meet them today because the topic that we're going to talk about is not often talked about. So I'm bringing awareness to the diaspora and Africa and around the world. Oftentimes, especially Africans, they never really had the possibilities then of meeting their brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And for what I understand, and we're going to go into the story immediately because we have 45 minutes and I want to get everything in there. There was a ship that was wrecked on the way. I'm not sure where they were going, but this is why you're here. And it said in the history that I've read recently that they were coming from West Africa and there were Nigerians, but there might have been other Africans on that ship. So let's start with that. Let's start with that history.
I think it's even before that, many years ago, even before Columbus came and the Europeans came to this region, Africans have been crossing the Atlantic Ocean, and they have been visiting this entire region long before Columbus. And Garinagu actually is a mixture of Amerindian and Africans.
And Caribs.
And Carib. Amerindian pass to the African Carib.
Yes. Exactly.
It is the mixture of three different races that brought the product of Garifuna.
Exactly. And that was the Arawak, the Caribs, and the Africans.
African, yes.
Exactly.
Remember, Arawak and Carib is actually the European interpretation of the Amerindian at the time.
Okay. All right.
Yes. We used to settle on St. Vincent, and we settled in St. Vincent long before 1492 when Columbus came, like I have mentioned earlier. But an important date in our history is actually 1793, when our parents or our ancestors were actually led by Joseph Chatuye. I think almost everybody heard about Joseph Chatuye. His correct name is Joseph Chatuye, not Chatuye. So that he was our paramount chief.
Right.
Yes, and Joseph Chatuye was actually a warrior, I would say, because majority of the slaves in the entire region, they used to call St. Vincent the place of refuge.
I see.
Because when the slave would run away, they find refuge on St. Vincent. Because
you're talking about the slave in St. Vincent, the slaves in St. Vincent. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes.
Yes, and so
I want to get into this because I've read where, according to the historians, and you can't believe everything historians are saying because it's all who wrote it. But the Garifuna resisted British and French colonialism in the Lesser Antilles and were defeated by the British in 1796 because of a violent rebellion on St. Vincent. The British, according to the history, moved 5,000 Garifuna across the Caribbean to Bay Island off the north of Honduras. So from there, they migrated to the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, and Belize. So by 1802, about 150 Garifunas had settled in I believe it's called Stan Creek, but now they call it Dangriga area, and were engaged. Now they're engaged in a lot of fishing and farming and things like that.
That's our way of life.
That's the way of life.
Their way of life. Expand on that.
We have a little. Well, actually, it's 1795 when Joseph Chatuye was conquered and he was killed. And even though he was killed,
the name that you mentioned, who was that?
Joseph Chatuye was our paramount chief. He was the leader of the settlement at that time. Okay. Because we were settling on St. Vincent.
Okay.
Yes.
We were settled in St. Vincent because what happened, the Amerindians were, the Indians were the first who were living in St. Vincent. And so the Caribs, they went to St. Vincent and killed the Amerindians, and they took their wives as additional wives.
Okay. The women as wives.
Yes, took them as wives.
And that unification is what we call Garifuna or Garinago today.
Yes, because remember, after the shipwreck, the Africans, they ended up and they intermingled. And so that's what the product.
That's the end product that we call Garifuna.
So who came up with the name Garifuna? Who came up with that name?
I don't really know, but I know.
I think what happened, we have a coalition of Garifunas within the diaspora. And I think they come together and they make that decision among themselves.
Because in St. Vincent, some of them call themselves Kalinago. And but in Belize, you will find out we're saying we are Garinago, right?
Yes.
But we know that the word Garinago means, we know that it means those who trade gold. Because remember, a part of our heritage, our ancestors, our African roots were actually those who were trading gold, and they came to this region years before Columbus, like I have mentioned to you.
Yes.
Right. Now, while living on St. Vincent, under the leadership of Joseph Chatuye, the French came And you know, as usual, they wanted to exploit the area and the people because they wanted the land. They wanted all the minerals that they can get, whatever value they find.
Right.
And they came first, but they were unable to conquer us.
Exactly.
So when the British came, the British, they over a period of time, and at the year of 1795, they killed our paramount chief, Joseph Satuye. And after they killed the paramount chief, our brothers and sisters who were there, they started to, once they are captured, they prefer to kill themselves than for them to be enslaved.
Got it. Got it.
And because we refused to be slave or enslaved by the European, they exiled us from St. Vincent
to Balisau,
and they took us to Balisau. Balisau now.
They exiled you where? Where did you go from there?
From St. Vincent to Balisau.
Okay, where's Balisau?
Balisau is an island that is a hard rock.
There's no vegetation.
No vegetation, because the intention was actually to genocide, to kill the entire race.
Right.
Our food,
usual. Yes,
our food that we eat can last many years and it will not spoil. And that's the reason why when they exiled over 5,000 of us to Balisau, 2 years after when they went for them to take to Rotan, Honduras, it was a little bit over 2,000. Some of them died because of water. Some of them died because of food. They ran out of food. And, you know, because Balisau don't have they don't have what it takes for them to survive.
Right.
I'd like to add, though, that it was 5,000 who were exiled.
Exactly.
And only 2,800 that arrived in Rotan,
Honduras. Because some of them died on Balisau and others died on the way to Rotan. Yes.
So you guys, so I need to clarify something. When they exiled the 5,000, was that just the Africans, or was that the mixture of the Caribs?
It was Garinago.
Already.
It was Garinago already.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was
some of the kids, some of the children were left behind. And today in St. Vincent, you can still go and find a few who call themselves Kalinago, but they don't speak the language. They lose majority of the aspects of the culture.
For those who remained, had us to abandon their culture and their language. And that's why those that are in St. Vincent today cannot speak their language and don't know anything about their culture.
Exactly.
And that's why we from the diaspora send people from the different regions to teach them about the culture,
the language
and the culture, the dance, the music, and so on. So that's what we're doing.
How come then they only sent the Africans, the 5,000 Africans to this place? What about the natives that was there? They kept them there? Or
actually the Indians intermingled with the African, and that's what we call Garinago.
Yes.
Got it.
So when they exile, they catch as many of us that they could have caught at that time, and they exile them. Some of the kids stay behind. But with those who stayed behind, they were stripped of the different aspects of the culture. And those who they took to Balisau were later taken from Balisau because some of them passed away. But those who survived were taken to Rotan. And that's the reason why on the 12th of April annually, we celebrate the 12th of April as Garifuna Survival Day.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
And it was
Well,
from
I
your time.
understand that the Garifunas are resilient people. You
Yes,
know,
very.
they have survived many years as extreme hardships and
Yes.
are the only Black people, which I did not know this, the only Black people in the Americas to have preserved their native Afro-Caribbean culture due to the fact that their ancestors were never slaves. That is the key of the conversation that we're talking about this evening. The Garifuna's deep sense of kinship and participation in community cultural activities have provided them with a sense of solidarity and cultural identity during those turmoils that they was going through, you know.
Yeah.
And
I
am so like, and I want Nigerians and those Africans that in the West African region to understand that you still have your brothers and your sisters in
Yes.
Belize, in Honduras, Guatemala.
Guatemala, yes. In Nicaragua.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now, tell me about the religion of the Garifunas. What does it consist of? I understand from, again, what I read, they had, of course, the African and Indian beliefs, and they believe that the departed ancestors mediate between the individuals and external world. And if a person behaves and performs well, then he will have a good a good life, you know. So tell us more about your religion there. The majority of the Garifuna.
Our belief, we believe that we believe in the supreme being. Yes, we believe in God.
Yes.
And we believe that our ancestors is the link between both worlds.
Yes.
In the our world and the spiritual world. We believe that our ancestors is that link.
Yeah.
And our ancestors are the one that picked the high priest that we call the Bouye. And there are others that we call the Onagle. Those are messengers within each family.
Okay.
So our ancestors will go and give them messages as to what is happening in the family, if something is about to happen, if we're doing something wrong, if there are division within the family, because we believe that we are all one and we need to respect God's creation. And that's the reason we live closely with nature.
Yes.
And we want to make it clear that when we pray through Jesus' name.
Yes. Yes.
We want to make it clear. Right? But Martha have explained everything already, and so I don't need to reiterate on it. Right? But we believe in the supreme being.
Awesome.
We believe in Jesus Christ. We have a few Garifuna who are Muslims and from other religions, but majority Garifuna are Catholics.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Actually, it's a hybrid culture. It doesn't matter. Some people, you have to stem to one of the denominational churches. However, when it comes to our spirituality, our place is our temple. And that we call the Dabueba.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you go to a Garifuna community and you talk about a temple, they will get offended. Because they will tell you it's not a temple, it's a Dabueba, especially the elders in our community. They would prefer to use the correct term. Dabueba.
What is the correct term? What is the correct term?
Dabueba.
And what does that mean? What does that mean?
It's a place of worship. It's our meeting hall.
Yes.
It's whenever you have a family dispute within families, the elders and everybody would meet there. And there we settle out whatever differences we have.
Like a reunion.
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. I want to go over now to the, still talking about the history of the Garifuna. I think it's amazing how they are the migration and the intermarriage and how it was created, the Garifunas. But the Arawak Indians migrated from also Guyana, Suriname, and Venezuela around long before the arrival of the Europeans to the New World.
That's right.
And so yeah, Venezuela, and you know, before they arrived. So the way when we talk about the history, we always mention Columbus, and the thing is that Columbus found us there because, as you said, and I was aware of that Africans was already in the Americas, South America, Central America, North America. Africans.
We are navigators of the sea, love. We are navigators of the sea.
Yes, exactly.
We know what time to pass the Pacific Ocean or the ocean. We know the currents. That is telling you that we were navigators of the sea. That's where we trade.
When the Garinago first came to Belize, they came in dories. You know what a dory is? It's a small little boat. And they paddled all the way from Honduras to Belize.
Yes, yes.
Actually, it's like a dugout log. You know, you get a log and you dug it out.
Yes.
And form, yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And because our ancestors have that astronomical connection, I would say, that helped them to navigate. That helped them to know when there is a weather. They could tell you the time of the day without using a clock, just based on the shade of the sun, your shadow, and with the sun.
Yes.
They actually knows how to extract poison from the cassava that we eat. That is our African root.
Wow.
Because the bitter cassava is actually poisonous. But they know how to make the wola, they call it. And they strain the cassava before they process it, yes. To bake
Here is a picture of how you are making the cassava.
Yes.
But I did not know that it was poisonous. Explain, please.
Yes, the bitter cassava is actually the water from the bitter cassava that you extract from it is poisonous. Yes. We use it for to kill pests. Yeah. Any type of pest. It's a natural pesticide. Right?
Yes.
So our ancestors, we have been taught how to process the cassava to make it edible.
Got it.
So you will find out that we mix the bitter cassava and the sweet cassava. And the cassava bread that is baked. Right. It doesn't have yeast. And it can last hundreds of years.
Really?
Whenever, yes, you store it. That's the best thing to preserve, especially in the case of a disaster. If you're doing food and storage and in preparation for hurricane or any disaster, you can store the cassava. And if it doesn't get wet and you find out it starts to limber, you take it out of the package and put it out for sun and it come back fresh.
Wow. Wow.
And you can eat it. And it can last years. So when you find out that they journey across the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean,
yes,
they can take the cassava bread. The same thing with the coconut. It will not spoil. You take the coconut in the huts. When you take the coconut in the huts, when you reach there, you can plant it because it's salt-loving plant.
Yes, yes. And then the coconut
journey doesn't spoil anything.
Right, because we extract oil from the coconut. We extract the milk, the milk, and then the trash, and water. Because this is my favorite dish. Do you guys make yuca pone?
Yes, you have the coconut water. It's number one. Instead of buying a Pedialyte,
yes,
it's number one for electrolytes. So you can drink the coconut water and it's very healthy.
exactly. So for one coconut, let's go over this. This is amazing. And one coconut, you get coconut milk.
Yes.
You get the trash. You can eat and you grate up the white part inside the coconut. And then you mentioned something else. What else?
You make coconut oil.
And the coconut oil, the coconut water.
You get the coconut water. Now, if you have
one more thing.
You have pastry that you make from it.
No. Not that I want to say. We also use it as our lotion when we were children.
Yes.
That's true.
It's number one. It is number one for the skin protection, to lubricate the skin and to secure the molecules in your skin from the ray of the sun. Yes. It's number one for that.
Yes, but look at what Mr. Murray is saying. We have a guest here. Mr. Murray said the poison from the cassava is made into starch for ironing the clothes.
Yes, as well. But you have to let it settle. You have to let the water, the poison from the cassava water, I would say the cassava juice. You take it from there and you have to leave it to settle to get the starch at the bottom.
Yes.
And then you cook it, and then you can starch the clothes.
You can also make love from it.
Yes, you make porridge for babies.
For a baby.
And the porridge too.
And you use the water. You use the water from the tap as pesticide.
Yes. And not only that, in Panama, I remember with the starch, washing your clothes was my God, it was an art. It was an art because, and I want to talk about this because I know my African brothers and sisters and my Caribbean people and Latin America, I know you have done the same. The starch now, the process to wash your clothes is not, we didn't have washing machine, right? So you had to wash the clothes. And no, first my grandmother used to put the starch in there, and then she used to put it outside in the sun with the bleach. So the bleach would whiten the clothes. You see, you don't just wash the clothes and process and hang it up. There was a process. You go, you put the bleach, you put it outside, and you didn't wash the clothes the same day. In order for the sun to hit it, then it gets white. Then you bring it back in the morning. You wash your clothes. You soak it, wash it again. This is the white clothes now. And then after that, you rinse. And what else did you do? She used to put this thing called blue. It was the color blue to make it look really white. Then that's when you hang out your clothes. It was a process, you know. And Africans, this is why we're still alive. Europeans could not destroy us because we took what was given to us or what was there and we made it work for us. And that was the Garifuna. The Garifuna, the people made it work. They couldn't kill all of you. So there you are. You're in Guatemala, you're in Belize, you're in Suriname, you're everywhere. You multiplied. And that is the beauty of history. That is the beauty of the resilience of the African people. You just can't get rid of us that easy.
Exactly. But the main thing that keeps us going, the main thing that keeps us going is our spirituality.
There you go.
Our spirituality makes us understand how to deal with personalities, different personalities.
Yes.
Why? Because we have core values. We believe that we should respect God's creation. And at the same time, you don't fight fire with fire unless if you have to. Some of it you leave God for our Father to judge.
Yes, I totally
so
agree.
Even though it is said that we were warlike, we fought when it was really extremely necessary.
Yes.
But apart from that, anybody who is seeking refuge can come and live among us. You'll be welcome because we believe that we don't make you. God makes human beings.
That's
so we respect God's creation.
Right. Yeah. I want to show the audience now. We've been talking and I haven't had a chance to show the audience. These are the Arawak natives back then, as you can see. What we're looking at, were they mixed at this point with the Africans as well, as you can see. And here is another group here. These are the natives. Here you are. It's amazing. And here you are today. And I want to talk about the tamales. This is a lady here that's making the tamales. Now, are the tamales more so from the natives or the Africans?
I would say it's both.
Yes.
Because then, yes, there is the Amerindian way of making the tamales. It's slightly different from the African way. But remember that our mothers were actually the Arawak because they come from the Amerindian. They were the ones who were in charge of bringing up the home, because remember the Carib would actually take the Amerindian, the Arawak as their wives, right? And that's the reason why they are different way of speaking the Garifuna language. A woman have different expression than the male. The woman would say Noguya because that is more Arawak.
Yeah.
The man will say Awile or Awiye, come here. Or if he's referring to himself, he would say Ow. Because that is the African. Yes. But I say that when it comes back to the tamales, when the African, when the Garina go make tamales, we add the little coconut cream to it.
Yes. Okay.
And
there's something that we make too with the coconut. I don't know if you guys make it too. It's called the coca. It's with the dough and with the coconut trash. And then we put brown sugar and all that other stuff. I don't know. Maybe you call it another name. But it's like with the trash of the coconut. You know what? The Jamaicans make that. We call it the coca in Panama. Very, very good. Yes.
We have like a pastry that we made from the coconut. Yes, and it made from the trash with little sugar. We call it tableta. There is the catabrut. There is the cross. The coconut cross.
That's it.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about is what we call cross.
Yeah. When we were talking earlier about the cassava, we forgot about the domari. There is a spice that we made from the cassava juice as well that is extracted. And we add little natural spices to it and we cook it.
Yeah.
And you add it with fish.
Yes.
You fix it with fish and we call it domari. I don't know how they call it in the Caribbean or where the others are, but in Belize we call it domari. Only the elders will actually, if you go and tell them about domari, they will tell you, yes, they know what it is. But for the young person, you don't find it again.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Now I want to talk about the population, because I understand that the global population of Garifuna stands up. It's probably more than 300,000 people, many of whom live in the United States and Canada, because the Garifuna communities along the Caribbean Sea live mostly in coastal towns and villages in the Central American countries of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So would you say that's correct?
Yes, I would say basically about
but
that.
I think we have more, a little more than 300,000.
Right, that's what I said, 300,000 and more plus. Yes, yes.
450,000, I would say.
450. Okay,
Yes.
right.
That's
Well,
what
I think
say.
that's amazing.
Because I know in Honduras we have like 54 communities.
Yes. And
Yeah.
In Honduras, yes.
And we have 2 in Guatemala.
Yes,
I'm
we
not
have
sure how
7
much
in
we have
Belize.
in Nicaragua.
Yes. But we have 7 in Belize.
Yes.
And there is a whole lot within the US because there are Chicago, LA, New York, you know?
And as much as there is 7 in Belize, there is about in other districts, we have several Garifuna. And when you look at Belize City, San Pedro and Orinjoa, there are huge Garifuna communities.
Yes, yes. But it seems that then the Carib, okay, there's something I need to clarify here, because when I was reading, I discovered in reading about the Caribs and the Arawaks, were they cannibals according to European history about them?
That's not true.
That's true.
That's not true.
That's what the British said to the other
about also for division and conquer.
For divide and conquer.
From the other black race, especially those who were slaves. Don't mess with those Garinagos because they are cannibals. But that's not true. We prefer our food, especially our meat, fully cooked. Right. We eat a lot of roast food, and you find out that we preserve a lot of our meat. Yes. We will smoke it, we salt it, and only that what you're going to use now will be properly cooked. Yes, yes. And it must soak in lime. We use a lot of lime.
Yes. The amazing thing here about your history, the Garifuna, once COVID passes, I really want to do, because I was a minister of tourism and I've been in tourism for a very long time. We have to begin to bring our brothers and sisters from Africa to visit their brothers and sisters and to show them that, especially Nigerians, because it was many of them from the West Coast and in that area that came when they were bringing them for slavery. So what I'm doing, and for my audience to know why I have these shows, is because we're so disconnected. Yes. We are so disconnected, and we have to make changes. We have to understand that, especially in the Caribbean region, we are all brothers and sisters. Exactly. So when you visit America, and you might meet someone from Belize or someone from anywhere in the Caribbean, we were brought here by force. Even in Latin America, when you go to Costa Rica, when you go to Colombia, when you go to Panama, you see what you see is on this screen. People of color, and we are Africans. We are descendants of Africa. If both of you or myself was to go to Africa, they would not tell whether you were from Nigeria or not until you open your mouth. And then they will go, where are you from? But one of the things that I am bringing across here to the world is that we need to reconnect with each other.
Yes.
We need to learn from each other. And that is something that is important because soon we are going to be doing business with each other. We have to do business with each other because you mentioned also about the seafood, the fish, and all these things. There's so many opportunities in the Caribbean, so many opportunities in Latin America and in this region that Africans are not tapping into. And the problem with that is because those that have colonialized you, that is who you do business with. You do business with the British, you do business with the French, you do business with Australians, you do business with Asians, you do business with everybody but your brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and through Latin America and the world. Go ahead.
With that said, I think that it is high time for people of color to reunite.
Yes.
We need to reunite with each other. We need to make sure that we can provide for each other.
Yes.
And together we will stand as one.
That's right.
We continue to complain that we are suppressed, we are marginalized. I think that the entire government system within the countries is actually polarized by those who we continue to trade with, by those who we continue to work for, by those who continue to have power. So for us to change the tomorrow for our kids and grandkids, we need to change today.
We need to change our mindset, our mentality, that when we see our brothers and sisters in the world, we don't look at them based on their flag. We don't look at them based on their countries, but you look at them because they are people of African descent. We have been disconnected. We've been colonialized. We've been enslaved. And one of the things that we have to do is begin to trade with each other, because that's where I'm going. I've been doing it, but I'm bringing awareness now, not just in business, but also culture, also the history of your brothers and sisters being taken from Africa through this region, the sixth region, the diaspora, and unite. It is time. And it's now. If we don't do this now, we'll never do it. And this is why I'm bringing the awareness here in this program, Love, Truth, and Peace. I honestly, I enjoyed this program, and you guys have to come back, hopefully soon. And I would like you, both of you, to leave word of encouragement or invite Africa and the rest of the world to Belize. But first of all, we want to know how we can contact you. I know you have a talk show on Facebook. So let the audience know the type of things that you discuss on your talk show.
Yes, we have our talk show every Sunday at 2 p.m. Belize time. The talk show is Habafu Garinago, which means the power of the Garifuna people. And what most of the time our show is about, talking about our culture and the weakness of our culture and the strength of our culture, and how we can work in building or working on our weakness, problems within our communities, and so on. So we do that every week, and we're doing that for the past 3 years. And so we invite one and all to call in or to listen to our show, call in, and to contribute. Feel free to do so on WhatsApp or also on Messenger. You just need to find me, Robert Mariano, on Facebook, or Habafu Garinago on Facebook, and like Habafu Garinago page, or you can also find Robert Mariano and send a friend request, and then I'll accept you, and you'll be able to see the show.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Also, we continue to strive for economic development for our people. And that's the reason why we're doing a sewing program called the Wanichigo sewing program here in Belize and Dangriga. We have 3 different branches of the Wanichigo. There is one in Belize City, here in Belize, in Dangriga, and in Punta Gorda, in the country of Belize. We empower women, especially women, because they are the majority in our sewing program. There are few males, but the males are invited. We don't discriminate against you all because we are all one. But remember that we continue to strive for economic power for ourselves and our entire generation and for Black people on the whole.
Exactly. It's beautiful. Beautiful people from Africa. This is wonderful. I am so blessed, honestly, to receive this type of information from both of you. This is things that our brothers and sisters, even in America, are not aware of, and they need to know that they have their brothers and sisters all throughout that region. And I would like to do a tour and bring people there to learn more about the Garifunas. And
before you close off, I just need to let everybody know, the world know, that presently we're faced with a problem in Honduras, where our brothers and sisters are abducted and killed by the Honduran leaders. And we are striving for them to respect our people, to stop racism. And we stand together in this fight. We need to make sure that united we stand, divided we fall. So even though this situation is in Honduras, all of us stand together to fight and to combat this situation. And they'll be having protests on the 22nd of April in the US. In Belize, we will not have any protests. We are going to have, we plan different activities. So we'll do mass signatories. We have the honking of the horn at the Honduras consulate in Belize City. We're doing mass texting. We're doing the message, the Garifuna Life Matters. You will see a lot of that on Facebook. Please share it. What else? I think that's about the actions that we have planned.
Before we go, I would like to know what is really going on. Why are they killing the Garifunas? Is it in Guatemala or
in Honduras? They are killing our leaders because they want the land. They want access to the land. Remember, the land on the coast is very valuable, and the government is actually trying to take away the land from from our brothers and sisters for tourism in some areas, and others is for them to plant alternative to get alternative fuel. And that's the reason why, they are killing our brothers and sisters, especially the leaders in the different communities. Because the leaders are actually a part of Ofrene, the Garifuna organization that represent the Garinago people in Honduras. So they are killing the leaders so that the people would continue to stay passive. So that whatever they do with them would be okay. But we want to drill the message that it's not okay. And we are watching. It doesn't matter where we're at, we're watching. And we are also concerned. We will voice our dissatisfaction.
Yes. And I think also Belizeans that's in the United States, we need to get more involved with what's happening with our brothers and sisters even around the world. And this is why we're always defeated, because whatever is happening in Belize, or in Honduras or in Guatemala, wherever the Garifunas are, they have to deal with that issue. We kind of sometimes disconnect, and that is something that we have to change. We have to change that mentality. If we can't be there, they give them some moral support, creative funding in order for them to protect themselves, protect their children, you know. So I am challenging you today that let's not just listen to the news about what's going on in Guatemala, in Honduras, in Belize, in all these different places, because our brothers and sisters are there. And I think it is time now for us to participate, and not just Belizean, all of us, people of African descent, all of us. We need to get involved with what's happening to our brothers and sisters in the world. Don't make this, I am not Belizean, so I have nothing to do with that. I don't see that in the white community. They all get involved. No matter if they're not involved directly, they are funding their organizations in order to fight whatever they have to fight. And normally they win. So let's, if you want to imitate your oppressors, if you want to imitate your colonializers, do that. That is what you have to do. Sorry to say it that way, but it's the truth. I want to thank you once again for joining us. I love you guys. You guys made my day. And this is Love, Truth, and Peace. And this is Dr. Melida Harris Barrow. And next time we're going to have a show, Martha and Robert, about the situation that's really going on with the Garifunas. No, they should not be dying that way. And this is also happening in Colombia, in Buenaventura, in Chocó, in those regions. They are doing the same thing because they're stealing their land. There's a lot of things going on now. Everybody, they're getting desperate, and they know there's going to be a lack of food sources. It's going to be limitation. So they want the land. So let's help our brothers and sisters around the world. This is Dr. Melida Harris, and thank you all. Join us again next Thursday. Next Thursday, we have a great show. It's going to be, I believe, I am going to be bringing the president of Congo, of the Chamber of Commerce in the United States. So we're going to learn a lot about Congo, a lot of things we don't know, and that's why we have this show. Thank you, and may God bless all of you. Again, this is Love, Truth, and Peace.